Hello, and welcome everyone. Welcome to Midweek Mindset. My name is Michelle Anuntuo, co-owner of Harmony's Divine Design, where I work alongside the awesome T Weaver. At Harmony's Divine Design, we work with new and seasoned entrepreneurs and help you guys get out your stuck place. So we do that by offering one-on-one business coaching, online classes, and products and services to help you streamline your workflow. So, without further ado, my wonderful co host, Miss Kim.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kimberly James, and I am the owner of Josie May, and my clients pay me to bring their vision to life. I empower them through creativity, mindset transformation, and personal growth by offering digital and physical products that reflect our unique style, craft workshops to spark your creativity, 30-day challenges to expand your mind, and one-on-one coaching to help you achieve your goals.
All right. So, for the month of February, we have been discussing marching forward and what that looks like, how the steps would align with us doing so, not just in our business, but in our life. Because as I always say, our business is truly and genuinely a reflection of us. It's a reflection of our mindset, our action steps, the whole kit and caboodle. So, one of the things about that is when it comes to our business and even ourselves, how are we actually setting ourselves up for success? What steps are we taking to get there? So, would anyone like to hop into that? Don't all jump at once. Yeah, everybody must be at work. Alrighty.
The one thing for me is just being intentional. That is kind of my new word. I know that often I have been busy in my business, but not necessarily working on my business. So if you're always busy in the business, and your business, it becomes kind of stagnant and it won't really grow. And I went to a seminar last year, and I know one of the things they were talking about how, as an owner or CEO of your business, if you're always working in your business and not on your business, then you got a hobby. And I'm like, ooh, ouch. I don't want this to be a hobby. I really want this to be a business. So I have to be more intentional about working on the business and not necessarily in the business.
Gotcha. Nikki, you have your hand up.
Yes, what I was going to say is by coming to these mindsets on Wednesday. But also yesterday, listening to Kay Bowman talk about being a CEO and listening to Kim just now talking about being a CEO, I realized after the Zoom call, I was telling someone, I really do spend more time in Canva than in Canva trying to create revenue. I spend so much more time designing and playing around than creating streams of revenue. Mm-hmm. Because I've never thought of it that way. I've always heard, yes, you need to make money. You make money. This is how you make money. This is blah, 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 blah. But there's something different in my mind between making money and generating revenue. So I need to do some vocabulary replacement more so than other things. So once I can make shifts in my mind, I can see them differently because I'm so black and white, and it's hard for me to see outside of things. So just saying, okay, Nikki, you are the CEO. This is not a hobby. God has you doing something. Yes, you are supposed to be generating revenue so that you can bless the kingdom. But I came into the space with a mindset that was not my own and a goal that was not my own. So, as I've said before, just being AI Fusion adjacent, I have grown so much by being in a different type of bubble. So again, coming to Mindsets and then listening to Kay Bowman yesterday has definitely made a shift in me.
So,
So, what's your next step?
My next step, I got off of the Zoom yesterday and I was talking to someone about that. And I sat down next to my laptop and I said, okay, Nikki, what is it that you need to do right now that is revenue generating so that you can actually work on the things you want to work on? Because I've spent so much time designing and thinking about ideas and not posting them that I haven't been able to do the things that I enjoy. I haven't been able to get my Cricut out. I haven't been able to use my cinch, thermal cinch. I have a whole stationery business here that I want to do. I'm still a crafter at heart, but I've been stuck in this digital download space as opposed to my crafting space. And so sitting yesterday with my in Canva and in Word, creating my 30 Promises journal, as opposed to flittering back and forth, being trapped in the template zone like I did before. It's so easy to go down a Canva template zone. And I often find myself doing that. So the mindset shift helped. And I've been using my Pomodoro timer much more often. So, me and God are over here just kicking it. just trying to get a mindset shift, but the language is so important for me. And I didn't realize that that's what I was missing. When people kept saying, show yourself grace, I could not understand what that meant. And so I have to be able to internalize it into a way that fits into my puzzle pieces, because somebody else's circle, I'm struggling trying to put it into my triangle. So this is making a difference for me. That's why I said I don't remember any of last year until October when I joined the first mindset. So it's like the past 3 years have been a tornado sending me to Oz. And I feel like I'm finally landing.
nice.
So, yeah, that's it.
Good.
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just want to piggyback off of Nikki really quick. And even you, Kim, you said a very key word, which is intention. Um, and then piggyback that with Kay about making sure that you're doing revenue generating activities, right? So that lit a fire under me. I'm not even gonna lie. Yesterday's Teaching Tuesday. And it's something that I've always been thinking of, but I finally put it into action, and that's moving and creating with intention. So, for example, for me, yesterday, I've had a lot of firsts in the past like 48 hours. It's crazy. But yesterday, I've touched Midjourney for the first time. And with me going into it, I was going into it with intention because I was generating prompts in Chatty and I didn't like the way they were looking. So I'm like, okay, well, let me finally try Midjourney. So I created images in Midjourney and they were beautiful images. I did them from a GPT that I was creating. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to utilize these. I'm going to utilize the images. So they became prompts of the day. Well, apparently God wasn't done with me in those images as of yesterday, because it continued over this morning. Because when I woke up, what Kay's message was yesterday, that one key part for me really stood out, which was do a revenue generating activity every day for your business. So what that developed into was me going ahead and producing my very first digital journal, and not just producing it, but also pushing it out. So I was I'm going to sit here and admit, because I'm like, okay, I didn't really get what all the hoopla was about releasing your stuff until I had to do it myself, right? So this morning I went ahead and I did journal and I got everything together, and my anxiety was high, high. I'm like, and typically when that would start, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm just done. I'm just going to close my laptop. I'm not going to touch it anymore. But I challenged myself. I'm like, listen, I have to get in the mindset of producing beyond just my comfort zone, right? And that goes for me for my development as a person, but even my development as a coach, because I can't coach you if I don't understand what it is that's going on, where that pressure or that feeling's coming from. So I got through it, and I literally powered through it. I got it together, pictures, images, prompts, knocked it all out this morning, pushed it out, and then I had went and I let Kristen know. She fussed at me, of course, because she's like, you need a phone call first. Like, what is, you can't do stuff like this without it. But I was explaining to her, you know, number one, like I said, it would be a disservice for me being a coach to not fully understand what that moment feels like. The moment of breaking through that barrier that we have set up within ourselves. Sometimes it's not even because of anything external, it's because of internalized beliefs. So, even though it may be one digital journal in a sea of hundreds that are out here, it's a personal accomplishment and moment for me, because not only did I trust myself to put out a product, but I also trusted myself to put that CEO hat on and strategized, okay, I'm going to produce. So those freebie prompts that I had put out yesterday, they rolled over with this journal, because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to just give you just a journal. I want to give a little bit more too. So since I was working in my own GPT, which again, I ain't released either. I don't. I have a ton of GPTs I've created, and that's just sitting there. I'm guilty too.
Ma'am.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I know.
Ma'am.
But when you know we could sit here and we could create it, because a lot of times when I create, I'm creating something that I maybe need in that moment. That's something that may be beneficial to help me streamline it. you know, and I understand that those products, if it helps me, I know it can definitely assist other people. But I'll be honest, since T is like the GPT queen and the art queen and all of this other stuff that she's doing, I had went ahead and got in my comfort zone, which is running the back end, right? So today, to set myself up for success, to push myself out the comfort zone, I had to produce in a way that I wouldn't normally. You guys usually see me on the Zooms, I'm talking, I'm engaging, I'm motivating, the whole bit. But to show the creative side, that's it's a vulnerability for me, right? Because we're displaying a piece of us. This is something that we've enjoyed to create. This is something that we've nurtured, we've loved. Some of us, it may have taken us a while to release it. So, it was a pain point for me. And I've realized that in order to set myself up for success, I'm going to have to practice what I preach, which is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because releasing that first product for me, It was a little uncomfortable. I didn't like it. But once it was done, once it was out there, I could breathe. I'm like, okay, this was for me. I mean, if people buy it, fantastic. But it was a notch in my own belt towards my success. So, yeah.
I definitely understand how that feels. I am a creative person. I make digital and physical products. And whenever I need feedback on stuff, I always say, hey, I'm like Erica Badu. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my ish. So be kind with the feedback because when you're a creative and you're making something, I don't release anything until I think it's perfect. I'm not gonna show it to people until I'm absolutely sure. And once I've released it, um, then I'm pretty sure that it's pretty good. But the one thing that I've learned, because you spend so much time perfecting and trying to make things perfect, we ain't perfect. There's going to be an issue, there's going to be a problem with it. But done is better than perfect. You can always go back and revise something, update something, make it a 2.0, make it new and improved. Somebody told me, iPhone didn't stop at iPhone 1, we're at 16. So you can always update and change and make things better. So, Michelle, I do have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you've gone through this process and you understand what your clients go through when comes to the point of, we create stuff and we have it on our computers. How were you able to push past? I'm coaching you now. How were you able to
I feel
push past that? Because I think it's important for everybody else because you get to that point because we've all created stuff and you leave it on your computer. And the one thing that motivates me is my bank account because whatever I got on my computer could equal money if I release it. But you never know unless you release it. My mama is calling me now. I can't talk right now.
we was talking about her.
That's a second call, so I hope everything is okay. I may have to go on mute for a minute.
No problem.
Um, how were you able to push past that? Because that's a fear that we all have with releasing stuff. I know for me, I've gotten to the point where I release it, and if somebody buys it, great. If they do not buy it, I'll leave it as a freebie. Somebody will enjoy it at some point, and then I got your email address now. So for you, how were you able to push past, and how did it feel when you finally hit release?
So for me, it felt like literally using the left and right side of my brain at the same time. And what I mean by that is, I did the creative part, and the way that I pushed past the fear or the anxiety of it is I went ahead and put my administrative hat on right after. So I didn't give myself a moment to think. It was literally, I'm going to start this action and then I'm going to finish it all the way through. So what did that look like? It was, I'm creating the product. And to me, a product is not done because then the sales and all that starts kicking in on me. So the product's not done until it's presented.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, now usually I'm pushing T stuff out, right? Like I'm moving that. I had to disconnect a little bit of that personal feeling, and I had to put my tunnel vision on because I'm like, listen, I know the steps I have to take in order to produce it out and present it out to everybody. That's something I can I can write you a checklist on the steps you have to take to do that. So that was never an issue for me. My issue was on the other side of it being my own. So after I got it together, I looked at it. I said, okay. I didn't let myself stop at the okay moment. I'm like, now I got to put my tunnel vision on because I'm going to knock this out. And I disconnected the fact that I was working on my stuff and looked at it as I'm getting a product out.
Okay, that's good.
So
That's good.
when I had to reframe, that's what ultimately got me to the finish line, so to speak.
because I do believe that imposter syndrome is big, and we feel as if we're good with creating it for ourselves, but when somebody else has to see it, that's when the anxiety happens, when the fear kind of creeps in. So it's just kind of trying to figure out different techniques to kind of push past it. So I like the fact that you said that you kind of put a ton of vision on, and it's just a product that I'm releasing, not necessarily my product. This ain't my baby. Nobody wants to know that their baby is ugly. You don't want to release it. People are like, oh, your baby ugly. But so, you're real sensitive about, I'm sensitive about my stuff. I'm very sensitive about my stuff. But I also, in order to grow my business the way that it needs to grow, I have to release it. I know I'm good with doing stuff. I mean, 99% of my clients are by referrals because I don't advertise. I don't take pictures. I don't really do social media. I'll put something out there here and there. But I know that that is my issue. I'm working on it. I am a work in progress. But I know that in order to scale my business the way that I want to scale it, no one is going to be the mouthpiece for Josie May like I am. So I have to get past that anxiety. And I know it's because I'm an introvert. I love, being in the corner. I'm good with that. But, there are a lot of introverts who step out on their business. And, you wouldn't even know that they're introverts until they tell you.
Right.
You don't know that, until they tell you. So they're on when they need to be on, but then they figure out how to, step back and kind of turn it off when they need to. So I'm working on doing that, which is, it's a struggle. This is difficult for me, but I'm getting a little more comfortable. I had a quarter of a Xanax before we got on, so I'm good. I'm being transparent. I'm being honest. It still gives me anxiety anytime I have to speak in front of people.
Yeah.
But that's, it's something that I'm pushing through regardless. So, yeah, now y'all know my business. Yes, I have my quarter of a Xanax before I get on.
But you know what? Even though, because there are other people where their anxiety is very high and they do need, some assistance with it to get them to push through. So, like you said, you're being transparent because a lot of times, unless you, unless you be honest with yourself, right? Because for me, that's being honest with yourself, knowing that, hey, listen, I can't do all of this by myself. I may need a little help. That's fine. For me, it's deep breathing. It could be writing. I could literally just get in the middle of my living room, put one of my favorite songs on, dance it out, and then I'm like, okay, let me get back to what I got to do. So for everybody, it looks different.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is that you still show up, you still deliver. And I think even with our businesses, we have to be that way where, yes, we're going to be in situations that we're not going to be comfortable in.
Mm-hmm.
But the question remains, are you going to dwell within that feeling, or are you still going to show up for yourself?
Yeah. I mean, because at the end of the day, if you don't move forward in your business, guess where you're going to be tomorrow and next week and next year? In the exact same spot. In the exact same spot. And we take the classes and we learn the techniques and we, build up, our knowledge, but then we don't do anything with it. So, the question is, if you're building up the knowledge for yourself and it's a hobby, great. That's great. That's awesome. That gives you something to do. But if you truly want to have a business, you got to do, put yourself out there. You got to take the steps. And even small steps add up.
Absolutely.
Now my husband calling me.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go on mute.
Hang on.
Nikki?
I'm definitely off of what Kim just said. Before we got on, I was watching a video on YouTube, and the gentleman was talking about how God is calling us to be creators. And because he's a creator, but we spend so much time consuming. And God wasn't a consuming, it wasn't in the beginning, God consumed the world, He created the world. And he was saying how even watching his video was consumption, it wasn't creating. And it made me think about all the classes that I've taken, and it's all been consuming as opposed to creating, using it to create. It's just been information and skill overload. And with Kim just saying that, that's what it reminded me of, to be called to create. And so talking about revenue generating again is creating, even creating content, but not consuming all the content. So this social media sabbatical, it lines up with exactly what he said. And that's what I put on my calendar. There are some things that I can't do on social media, but mindset and teaching Tuesday are on my calendar because I have to use it wisely. And I'm consuming, but it's also creating a change in me. So yeah, yeah, future.
And you made a really good point, Nikki, is, you know, being mindful of what it is we do consume, right? Because let's be honest, out here it's a lot of fluff of just stuff, right? And it's a lot of distractions out here. So when we are intentional about what we consume, be it through television or on a computer, on our phones, it really makes a big difference, and it can really assist our mindset. Because I know for me personally, before I used to love reality TV. I used to love it. But now I literally have to watch it in micro doses, and usually the episode is on about 15 minutes and I'm asleep. As soon as the first argument or whatever is on the TV, I'm asleep. Because I've realized that, before I would binge watch these shows to waste time, right? Because I didn't want to focus on me, or as a distraction, where I didn't want to focus on something external that may be going on around me. Now, I kind of watch it either when I myself personally just feel like I don't want to have to think, because I'm thinking all day, I'm creating all day, I'm doing different things. So now when I put my reality shows on, it's almost like a bedtime story for me. I'm just like, okay, it's time for me to go to bed.
It's that downtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to be that like that with Candy Crush. Oh my God. Hours. But I've learned now, I spend maybe once every couple of weeks. And if I'm sitting on the sofa and trying to entertain my husband and he's watching one of his shows that I don't want to watch, then I'll, get in a couple of games. But yeah, it's, you really have to be careful about how you spend time, because time is the one thing that we can't get back. And if you're constantly, I don't want to say wasting, but using your time on tasks that aren't generating money, if you're a business owner, are you doing your business a disservice? That whole scrolling on Facebook. I mean, I told you, I put an alarm on my phone. I give myself 10 minutes a day. And whatever I see within that 10 minutes is what I see. After that, I turn it off. Because before you know it, you can be on there for an hour. And if you get TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, that's your whole day. By the time you got caught up on everything,
yeah,
and it starts all over again. So You have to be intentional about what you do with, your time too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anybody else have anything they like to add? All right. T says hers is word search. She got to a high level and was buying stuff to make to the next level, and those were not cheap. Exactly. Exactly. You know, not only are you wasting time, but now you're wasting funds, right?
Mhm.
On something that's not going to be productive ultimately for what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I get it. I get it. All right. Uh, Kristen?
Now, Mama T, Mama Weaver, take the word search, turn it around, make your own, and get the money for it. You can create it and have fun creating it, but also sell it and get the coins for it. So if you choose to buy another one, at least you're redoing the fund. So it's refunding itself. So, and you know how to do those word searches. Yes, you do.
Kristen, that was that. Oh God, that was between right after my husband. No, right before my husband died, and up until me and Michelle found this,
Oh,
found Harmony. It was the electronic ones where you would like buy bumblebees,
oh, yes.
those, because I related to the Candy Crush that Kim was talking about. Because I have spent money playing this game and been up for hours playing this game just to kill time because I didn't want to look at TV. I wanted to tune the world out. But yeah, I haven't done that since I have no time to do it now, which is
I
good.
was gonna say, how the heck do you have the time, the GPT queen? How do you have time to play word search?
I know, I know, but I still may take you up on that idea. I think we gotta talk. Bye.
Anytime, Mama Weaver. Bye.
Love it. I love it. So, Kim, you want to go ahead into your presentation?
Sure. Hang on for 1 second. On screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So, here's a recap. So, this series for the month of February, we're talking about marching forward. In week one, we talked about taking bold action. We said that, hey, courage isn't about the absence of fear, it's about taking action despite it. Fear and doubt are natural, but should not stop you from moving forward. Small intentional steps build confidence over time. Reframing fear as a growth opportunity helps overcome hesitation. Accountability and support systems increase success. And then in week two, yeah, my button's not working. In week two, we talked about breaking through barriers. Identifying obstacles is the first step. The barriers that we talked about are either internal, which is self doubt, fear, perfectionism. External is the lack of resources, time, environment, and oftentimes funds. We talked about reframing limiting beliefs. So you can change your mindset from I can't to how can I. And creating an action plan helps to break down challenges into manageable steps. So, this week, week three, we are going to talk about creating a strategy for success, setting clear, achievable goals, and staying accountable. This session will discuss defining clear goals, breaking them into actionable steps, and establishing accountability to stay on track. The focus will be on practical goal setting methods, overcoming distractions, and creating a success driven mindset. So, is it necessary to have clear goals? Yeah, it is. Setting clear and specific goals is the foundation of success in every area of your life. So, whether it's in your business, your personal growth, or financial freedom, without clear goals, you lack direction, motivation, and a way to measure your progress. So, here are six ways and reasons why clear goals are good. It provides a clear vision and direction. It increases focus and eliminates distractions, measures progress and helps you stay motivated, boosts confidence and reduces overwhelm, keeps you accountable and disciplined, and it's a roadmap for long-term success. So a goal is not just a finish line, it's a stepping stone into something bigger, because once you complete that one goal, now it's time to make another one. Okay, so we're going to talk about the SMART goal framework. So the SMART goal is specific, which is what exactly do you want to do? So that's your actual goal. Measurable, how will you track it? Achievable, is it realistic? Relevant, does it align with your long-term vision? And time-bound, what is your deadline? So, because most of us are in the digital space, I kind of broke down SMART goals so that it makes sense. So the specific goal is clearly define what you want to accomplish. I want to increase my monthly digital product sales by 30% through targeted marketing and audience engagement. Measurable, ensure progress can be tracked. I would track my sales and analytics weekly to measure growth. I aim to go from 50 sales to 65 per month. Achievable, make sure the goal is realistic given your resources. I will achieve this by implementing a content strategy, email marketing, and running paid ads with a set budget. Relevant, ensure the goal aligns with your long-term vision. This goal supports my long-term business vision of creating a sustainable, profitable online store with consistent revenue. Time-bound, set a clear deadline for completion. I will achieve this goal within the next 90 days, checking in weekly to assess progress and making adjustments as needed. So now that's a SMART goal for a digital business who wants to increase revenue by 30%, you need to then break them down into smaller actionable steps, because if you can break them down into small actionable steps, it doesn't seem like the one big goal is that difficult. So to break it down into 90 days. So week 1, you do your research and you create a marketing plan. Week 2, you implement the marketing plan by you publish the content, you launch an ad campaign, and you track your performance. Weeks 5 through 8, optimize based on analytics, adjust strategies based on customer engagement and sales trends. Week 9 through 12, scale the most effective strategies to maintain and increase growth. And whatever works, rinse, repeat it, and discard everything else. So if you found something that works and it's engaging with your customers and your clients, continue to do that and just put fire on it. So if you got something that works, continue to put gas on it. If it doesn't work, discard it and keep moving forward. Now we're going to talk about accountability and overcoming distractions. The power of accountability. 65% of people achieve a goal when they commit to someone else. 95% succeed when they have ongoing check-ins. This is according to the American Society of Training and Development. So how to stay accountable. Find an accountability partner, a mentor, a coach, a friend. Use habit tracking techniques, a planner, a goal-setting worksheet. Implement weekly check-ins. Because here's the thing. If you tell somebody you're going to do something and you know that they're going to hold you accountable, you're going to make sure you do it before you meet with them again. And that's all about having an accountability partner or accountability group. Common distractions, social media, procrastination, and perfectionism. So how do we combat those? So with social media, you can set app limits, or what I do is I put an alarm on my phone. Procrastination, try using the 5-minute rule. What this means is if there's a task that you don't want to do and you've been procrastinating, give yourself 5 minutes to work on that task. And even if you just do 5 minutes a day or 5 minutes a couple times per day, before you know it, you've kind of knocked out the thing that you've been putting off doing. Perfectionism. Take imperfect action. Progress over perfection. Done is better than perfect. Now, create a strategy commitment plan for yourself. So reframe failure. Every setback is data, not defeat. Because if you failed at doing something or you weren't successful at doing it, now you have that knowledge that you didn't have before you started. So don't, feel bad or down on yourself if something doesn't work. Just realize that, okay, you're not starting at zero, you're restarting, not, it's not a failure. Celebrate your small wins. Progress fuels motivation. Acknowledge even small steps. Keep your why in sight. When challenges arise, and they will, remind yourself why you actually started. And then the challenge for the next 7 days, take one action daily towards your goal and track your progress. So, the recap: you need a clear goal, you need a plan, and an accountability method. That's it.
Especially when you went to the SMART goals. You speak my love language when you hit the SMART goals. But yeah, so I love the challenge, by the way. So with that being said, what is one goal that you could work on for the week? If you could put it in a chat, if you could think of it, or you could hop on a mic. But I will say for myself, my challenge is for a week, I am going to be consistent in doing something that will generate revenue for my business.
Mm-hmm.
Because just like I had to take my baby steps with getting in front of this camera, because I ain't like no camera. But like I had to take baby steps with that. This is something that, in order to continue the growth of our business, I say our because of course my partner is T. I have to pull up my side a little bit more as well. So it's a challenge. So y'all gonna be seeing some things from me. I'm letting y'all know I'm uncomfortable, but I'll get comfortable doing it as I continue to practice it. So
good. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what you'll create. I can't wait to see all the amazing things that you're going to create. For me, I say done is better than perfect. I'm always saying that, but I am a perfectionist, so that's not always easy. I am pivoting my business, and I put a target date out that was 6 weeks from now. She about to do that. So within the next week, I'm going to start promoting the change.
yeah.
So, I mean, what's the point in waiting?
Yeah.
What's the point in waiting? And here's the thing: done is better than perfect. And my, 50%, 60% is probably somebody else's 100%. So I'm just going to have to release it and see what happens. So that will be my goal for the next 7 days, which is scary.
No, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right. So in the chat, we have T. Her goal is to add art to our store instead of a GPT. Oh, whoa. Okay. So that means even though y'all see the art, it's gonna be about 5 or 6 different GPTs that's just gonna be sitting on our computer.
Actually, the art's coming from the GPTs.
See. All right, and then we have Nikki. Hers is to create a SMART goal. In order to do that, she has to identify her immediate goals. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. And and that's another thing. That also reminds me of something Kay said yesterday, which was the 4 Ds. I'm like, let me get it right. It is do it, delegate it, delay it, or delete it. And the thing about it is, really and truly, what you're doing is prioritizing what it is that you need to do. So, Nikki, when it comes to setting your goals, what is your top priority that you're looking to accomplish? Right? So, try writing it out. And then once because sometimes for us, I know for me especially, it helps when I see it in front of me. So I have to do a brain dump because if I don't, it's gonna be a whole slew of fog up here. Um, but write it out and see exactly what you want to put primary focus on at that moment in your business. Okay. Um, so we also have in the chat consistency. I need to do the research and then move on it. Rinse, wash, and repeat. Yes, 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 yes. You know what is so funny? Every time I think of consistency, I think of the meme um of a man, he's digging the dirt, trying to find his diamond, right? And there's a guy on top, he's holding a diamond. The guy gets tired and quits, but he doesn't know if he would have dug maybe 2 more scoops of dirt out of it, he would have achieved what he was looking for. And a lot of times, consistency is a challenge for some of us. And I think it's a challenge for some of us because we put such a big load on our shoulders that we don't realize that you can still be consistent with taking a small step. So that small step may look like dedicating a half an hour a day to your business. It could be researching, it could be learning something new in Canva. But for you to consistently show up and act on it and work on it and work through it, you'll be surprised how those baby steps add up. You really, really would. And T said we're gonna stop teasing her about her hundreds of GPTs. No, ma'am, we're not.
It's amazing.
It is.
It's absolutely amazing.
It is. It is. But yeah. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add?
He said, fixing my stand store, pivoting from only images to more teaching, putting out more revenue products.
And no, Miss Linda, I will not.
Wait, it took me a minute. I'm like, lay off my sissy. I'm like, it's with all of the layoffs going on right now. That's why, like, I was confused for a moment.
It was that quarter of a Xanax.
Yes, ma'am.
It kicked in.
All right. We also have Pauline who says hers is to sort out uploading her digital calendar that has been sitting on her computer. Stop overthinking about putting it out there and thinking it is too late. I'm going to tell you something, Pauline. A calendar is an evergreen product. So you can put it out pretty much any time of year that you want to. And the good thing about it is that, say, if you put it out mid-year, you can expand it to be a 16 or 18-month calendar. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the restricted 12-month that many of us are accustomed to. So that's one thing to think of. It's never too late, especially not with a calendar, to put it out. The good thing is you can always expand on it.
Thank you for the suggestion. Sorry, I'm a bit hoarse. Thank you for the suggestion. I created this from December and just so many setbacks. Like I said, I've been overthinking now. It's too late. It's too late. but you giving that suggestion will help me put it out there. It's like an added bonus for people. So I
Yeah.
hope you can hear me because I can barely talk.
I
So
can hear you. We can hear you.
thank you.
You're welcome. You're
I
welcome.
hope you feel better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. And Linda even put she does a daily calendar. So, there's always ways, especially with our products. Um, Part of that is overthinking, right? That causes that hesitation of us releasing it. So it could be like Pauline said, she thought she was too late to put it out. Pivot on the view that you're looking at your products and how you're producing them, you know? And another thing, strategize, right? So if you know that doing calendars is your twist, you definitely can put a calendar out and different calendars out every quarter. Say, for instance, that journals are something that you enjoy doing. Well, if you like doing theme journals, you can strategize what type of journal you're going to release per the year. So in January, the first quarter, it could be transformative. You're focusing on providing a transformational experience to your customer. For second quarter, you can focus on, we're looking at spring and moving forward and stuff like that. So that's another focal point that you could do with your journals. So we have a constant flow every single year. There's certain things that people will be focusing on every single year per the time of year. So when it comes to your business and what it is that you put out, you might want to sit down and strategize exactly what that will look like, what type of product you'll deliver. So, case in point for me, I do coaching and I do a lot of, I want to help the community start strategizing for their business. Well, Q2 is coming up. So, what does that look like for me? I'm getting classes together for you guys so we can look at what Q2 and plan for Q2 so it can be a productive one, you know. Nikki.
Okay, I'm going to run myself back to mindset because there is something about, you know, circles and triangles. And I accept that you can't get your circle in my triangle. I accept that, right? But the problem that I have also has to do with legalism and being black and white. And because I've spent the last 10 years by myself in my house with my cats, um, I I don't have anyone but me and my triangle to bounce things off of. um, so what I'm dealing with right now, and that's why I'm just like, let me just put it out here. I know I need to create my journals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll get distracted and go back to a calendar that's almost finished. And then I will say, but no, Nikki, you're supposed to be doing this journal. You're not supposed to be doing this calendar. And I go back and forth, but there's a difference between, okay, I'm working on this journal and let me come over here and work on this calendar without beating myself up for going over to the calendar. And that's the part that is in my mind that I have to work on. This has nothing to do with anybody on this call right now, but I know I need to work it out because it's been playing in my mind for the past week. And listening to this about SMART goals and saying I have to understand the goal, but it's the black and white legalism in my mind that is the problem. And again, me and my triangles, I don't have circles and squares, except the ones that I've been in for the past few years. And ooh, no. So this is just about my mind, and I'm just getting the words out loud. So if anybody has any suggestions, and I understand prioritizing, but it's more, Nick, you can only do this one thing. You can't do anything else. And so if anybody has something, let's go.
I, I believe that we all have unfinished projects. Um, I'm going to tell you what I do. This works for me. I start my week out with writing a list of things to do. And at the end of every day, so I start out the day, okay, this is the list of things that I want to do for the week. And then I do it by day. So at the end of every day, I go through the list that I have for Monday. So you say today is Wednesday. I go through my list for Wednesday. What I have not checked off for Wednesday is then added to Thursday. And so that's whatever I plan for the whole week. By the end of the week, I've knocked out 90% of the things. For me, I like to knock out the things that I can complete the fastest. So if there's something, if you've got a project that's 80% done and you've got one that's 50% done, finish the 80% and then work on the next one, or whichever one is the biggest priority. So say, for instance, if you've got something that's Halloween and you've got something that's Easter. Well, Easter's going to take a priority over Halloween right now. So look at kind of the list of what you have to do, how long it's going to take you to complete it. And what works for me is my list. I operate off of list. And then every day I can literally go through my weeks to see how productive I was and how much I got done. Because sometimes it feels like we haven't gotten anything done. But if you can write it down, I mean, I like my paper. I know some people like digital, but I have to have it on paper. And I just kind of check off as I complete things. So every week I write down a list of things that I would like to accomplish, and then I break it down by day. At the end of every day, so the last thing I do at the end of the night or the end of the morning, because I normally don't go to bed until around 2 or 3, I write down what I want to do for the next day, and I leave that on my laptop. And then I go to bed. So when I come down in the morning, I know exactly what my priorities are. Now, if I get an urgent email about something or something else comes up, then yeah, I have to, reprioritize my list. But I know what my day involves every single day. Because if I get to my computer and I don't have a list, I'm going to be on my emails. I'm going to end up on Facebook. I'm going to end up doing things that don't generate money. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, dang, I didn't get anything done. So this is what works for me. Anybody else have any suggestions?
That was good. That was good. For me, because I know sometimes myself as well, I can be like, ooh, squirrel, bouncing from one thing to the next. So what I do is I only pull up, especially if I know I have a project or something like that that I have to accomplish, I will only pull up on my computer what I need to be looking at to get that completed. So I'll make sure that I don't have Facebook opened. I'll make sure I don't have any type of social media, anything that can distract me or deter me from what it is that I'm doing. I'll close it out. So if I am working on a project, I only have my Chat GPT open, my Canva open, and I might have music playing on YouTube. But then what I do with that is I'll take that completely out of the lineup, have it in its own window, minimize it, and just listen to the sound. Because of course, you can go down a YouTube rabbit hole as well. So I've just learned how to kind of operate in a sense that makes sense for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know since, like I said, I get distracted, I have to limit those distractions. And T said, never have an AI Fusion window open because it will say, that's exactly why I close Facebook. It will send you down a rabbit hole. Yep. Because that chat will go bing, 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 bing. I'm like, nope, y'all not, it's a setup.
Yeah.
But that's how I zone in.
Yeah, I think I suffer from a little ADHD too, so I can't. I and I get overstimulated, and then I'll get overwhelmed. So, yeah, I understand having the one thing open, but the problem is when you have one thing open, you work in so many different apps, and then I'm like, you were not supposed to be doing that. Go back to what you were supposed to be working on. I mean, it's normal. It's
Yeah.
normal. That's like walking in your kitchen, like, what did I come in here
You mean here
for?
for? Oh my gosh, yes.
Then you go, you came in for water. Ooh, chips.
See, that's that squirrel. Like I get,
It
I
happened.
get it.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything they like to add?
I agree with what Kimberly was saying because I kind of going back to old school how I kind of did things more effectively. As much as we have this digital thing, it's not working for me. And because I've got this short memory thing now and the brain fog, it's affecting me. So I'm going back to old school. I did, and as Kimberly said, I write things down. But I said, Michelle, the other day I've just got an A4 calendar now so that I can, I'll write that down and write it on the calendar. And then I'm writing something in the kitchen. So at least it's staying in my mind. I haven't got my TV on. Sometimes I do, but it'll be on a YouTube, like a personal development thing. So it doesn't distract me because it's some form of noise, but I don't let it distract me because I'm trying to stay focused. And one of the things is because I'm mainly at home, sometimes I'm not getting things done. And when I went to this other place the other day, I was able to achieve everything I set out to do. And I was so pleased for that. So I know your environment counts for a lot. So, I mean, I have chronic pain and all of that. So that's one of the reasons why I can't get out as much, but I'm trying. I can't just plan and say, yes, I'm going to go out today. But when I'm okay, I'm just going to go out and try and get that work done because I know I can do it. So I've got that as a benchmark. But yeah, I've got my calendar and then going back to like the Gantt chart system I remember using back in the day. And that's like writing everything down. And then you give yourself a time schedule. It's a visual thing. Do you know what I mean? So because I can visibly see it, like I said, the computer, it doesn't help because it's got all them distractions. But when it's there on a board, written out, you can see it more clearly and be able to tick off all the tasks that you need to do. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
It's nothing like pen and paper for me. I'm a writer at heart.
Mm,
I actually have a pen and notebook right next to me
mm,
right now. So I get it. I get it.
mm,
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Pauline.
mm.
Anybody else?
Can I just say, I remember years ago, what's her name again? She was married to Russell Simmons.
Oh,
Kimora
Kimura.
Simmons.
That's it, yeah. She had a reality TV series years ago, and I remember seeing her write all what she was going to do for the day on her hand, and I copied the same thing, and I achieved it. And I thought, look at this big mogul woman or whatever she is. She was writing on her hand to ensure she got her stuff done. So I'm just from that just came to my mind again. So that's another thing. Sometimes you have to write it on your hand. It's not going to go away.
You're not gonna lose it. Not like a sticky note.
Exactly.
That part.
If she can do it, it's like, wow. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember the notes on the hand. My mom was good
Mm.
at that when I was younger.
But really, whatever technique works for you, because everybody's different. But
Mm.
whatever works for you so that you can achieve your goals, do it. You know. And I know I can't just say I'm gonna sit down on my computer and I'm gonna do everything I need to do. I have some time, sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. So if I don't have a list, it
Mm.
may or may not get done. So, and it keeps me sane.
Mhm.
You know.
My list went on the refrigerator. Everything was on the refrigerator. Doctor's appointments,
Mm,
calendars, you name it, it was on the refrigerator.
mm,
Because
Mhm.
you're always in the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Mhm. It's graduated from the refrigerator to a dry erase calendar now in the in the dining room. Chris says hers is still on the fridge. Yeah, I mean, like Kim was just saying, you got to do what works for you. You know, whether it be digital or physical to help you, keep track of all the moving pieces. Because let's be honest, running a business is not easy. And it's very easy to just get bombarded with things
Mhm.
because we
Yeah.
have the business, we still have personal, we have family. And at the end of the day, we need to do what works best for us to number one, keep our sanity, right? To
Mhm.
keep us together and calm and to help us not get so overwhelmed and stuck in the movement of everything.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Well, we are at 2:18. So, Kim, you want to share your awesome journal?
Sure. Okay. First, I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
The code is mindset as usual. Why change it? I told you I got sometimes because sometimes I may forget the code. So it's all caps. So use the code so that you can get it for free. But this is what is included in this week's journal. So creating a strategy for success, setting clear, achievable goals, and staying accountable. Here's a little welcome letter, a checklist to create your strategies for success, breakthrough commitment plan that you're making to yourself, SMART goals, and then an action plan list so that you can break down those SMART goals into smaller goals, and then a 7-day journal. So, day one is defining success on your own terms. Day two, setting SMART goals. Day three, breaking it down into actionable steps. Day four, identifying and overcoming obstacles. Day five, building accountability system. Day six, measuring progress and adjusting the plan. And day seven, committing to your success strategy. And then just a couple of journal sheets.
Nice. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So, again, she dropped it in the chat. So, if you guys could go ahead and grab that. And yeah, this has been really good. Really good session today. Setting goals and how are we going to set ourselves up for our success?
Mhm.
And then on top of that, what does my question that I want to leave you guys with is what does your success looks like? Because for each and every one of us, success looks differently, right? But I want you guys to get a full, vivid vision of what success looks like, what it will feel like, and how you can get there. Okay. So I would like to take this time. Thank you guys. Y'all know I love you. Um, this midweek mindset is it really, really uh, recharges my mind, body, and spirit, as I hope it does all of you. And yeah, thank you for your time, Kim. Uh-oh.
sorry, sorry, Michelle. Can you repeat those questions again, please?
Oh shoot. Okay, they came right off the top of my head. So let me see if I can remember. uh, but no, the one of the questions was, what does success look like for you? You know, I want you to really sit down and think about not only does it look like, but what would it feel like? And what action steps can you take to get there? Oh, I
Thank
do
you.
remember. You're welcome.
No, you don't have some timers yet.
And then TBD, I'll just say that. All right. And Kim?
Um, just thank you guys for coming out and spending an hour and 22 minutes with us. We really hope that the information that we're providing helps you move forward in your business. We really want you to win. And thank you for joining us.
All right. Until next time, you guys. See you later. Bye.
Bye.